Again, my name is Tom Bucklar. I work at Caterpillar, and I've got North American responsibility for what we call our machine control and guidance products. And a lot of that is what Robert was talking about and others on this whole concept of machine control. And I can tell you what you'll get from my presentation, I'm going to try and be brief, is that Caterpillar and our position in this industry as far as machines, this is the future, and you're going to see that we're acting very fast on it because we think this is one of the areas that can really drive the industry up. And you'll see what I mean as far as how we're acting on it. Just a little bit of Caterpillar, in case you're not aware of some of the nuances, but we're in the machine world. We also are in the diesel engine world and electric power generation, and we're pretty aggressive. We've been around since 1925 and are pretty proud of the products that we make. Today we have over 95,000 employees with about 300 operations in 40 countries. So a pretty good footprint to be able to serve our customers around the world. And from a manufacturing base, from an export base, this is where we're at. I mentioned that since 2002 it's been an incredible growth period. In 2002 we were sitting around $20 billion and had been there for probably 3 or 4 years. We're sitting at about $41 billion and looking at 44 this year. So our industry collectively has really taken a quantum leap around the world, and the challenges of that growth that some people talked about, if we weren't applying, if we weren't applying lean principles of manufacturing and a lot of what you guys are talking about here in construction back at our plants and facilities, we'd be in a world of hurt right now. It's been a challenge just to keep up with demand, and a lot of the technologies, processes, and things we're talking about here have been a big part of us being able to keep up with that. The principal lines of business, machinery, tractors. We actually, as a company, started in 1925. Our heritage is here in California, probably about 100 miles south of here, where there's 2 companies, Holt and Best, developed the first track-type tractor and called them Caterpillars. And they opened a plant in Peoria, Illinois in 1925. Moved the operation there as a corporation, but that's our roots are actually here in California. We're based in Illinois right now. The other products that we have, financial products, logistics, reman. These are all services business. And one of the things that we as a company are looking at, and we've talked about here a little bit today, is that taking technology and the things we have today and transferring that into services. And our space with a contractor, as you guys have looked at your process, has really been around the machine historically. And so you've taken that capital investment and you've said, and you've said, I've got some challenges, Caterpillar. I don't want to have inventory. So I don't want parts. You handle the parts. I don't want to have any of the other challenges as far as I've got a seasonal business. I don't want to have cash flow issues. Caterpillar, you handle the cash flow issues for us. And as our customers have needed services around our machines, we've actually built businesses around that. The financial services business is about a $2.5 billion industry for us right now, or company. And the logistics services right now we do for about 48 companies outside of Caterpillar. So it's a big business for us, moving Daimler Chrysler, moving Range Rover, moving other people's stuff, doing their supply side logistics. Another issue is reman services. And this is an interesting one for us to think about maybe into this space too. But from a sustainability point of view, what we build, we need to think about down the road when it needs to be rebuilt and try to make that efficient, try to make that lean. And is there something we can do as we build today, when we build engines and tractors, et cetera, we're doing a lot of things to make sure that can be remanufactured and have a second and third life. As we look at infrastructure projects, as we look at roads, this is something I'm sure you guys are thinking about, but it's something I was thinking about on the way out here. What can we do now to make sure the next run at that road or infrastructure is more efficient? The line of products, I won't go into this. We've got a website, but it's pretty vast. Commitment to progress. I think everyone's talked about research and development. It's key to us moving forward. Last year, we put about $5 million every working day into R&D, so somewhere in the neighborhood of $1.3 billion. And I can tell you a lot of that is shifting over into areas like this, areas of job site solutions, areas of wireless, areas of GPS. Somewhere in the neighborhood, when we formed the joint venture with Trimble, Caterpillar was number 5 in the world in GPS patents. We were behind our friends at Trimble and the U.S. government and others, but we're heavily investing in those technologies to be more efficient in the industries that we serve. But as we know, And we mentioned earlier, technologies don't mean anything if you can't bundle a service around it and support and be able to bring it to your customers. And our secret weapon in that is our dealerships. All of our dealerships are independently owned, but it's really the strength of Caterpillar. It's the Empires in Arizona, it's the Pond Group, it's Hecla, it's other dealerships around the world. They give us our ability to provide these machines and really wrap services around it. One of the services that our customers said is, you know what, I don't want to own the asset. I want just-in-time on my machines. I want to be able to rent it. And about 15 years ago, we went to our dealerships and said, there's a shift in the industry. We need to get into the rental business. And our dealers, to show the strength of that organization, they answered the call. And 10 to 15 years later, there's 1,500 cat rental stores around the world to be able to provide that service to our customers. One of the things that I just started taking a look at as we talk with customers right now, we have what we call the cat production system. And this is our lean internal system. And we've talked about all the issues. I actually am not an expert in this, but I was reading quite a bit about it over the last week once I found I was going to come to this seminar. And you know, attacking waste obviously is the big part, and guys in this room are much more experts than I am in this. But the other two things I said just as important were that you've got your operating systems that you need to apply, and we use Six Sigma to do a lot of that, but it's the cultural and the management. You've got to be able to say, if there's a defect in that line, I'm going to shut down the line, and I'm going to fix it, and then I'm going to go back. It can't be the kind of the old school that we'll get the fix done later, we'll have it done at the dealership. There's a lot of culture and a lot of inertia within manufacturing companies to get things out of the factory, get them into the dealership's hands, and get them out into the customer's hands. And we found that to be, especially in this last 5 to 10 years with the velocity increases, you can't do business that way. And so these processes have really helped us to grow and not experience some of that pain.
Good thing, Tom, that the project doesn't have any of those pressures.
Right. Yeah. Understood. One of the things that we talk about is, you know, what's the best way to get customer input and feedback on the direction of your company? Obviously, you know, we do a lot of focus groups, we do a lot of interviews, we spend a lot of time with our dealerships and our customers. One of the things that we do through our industry groups is we pull in large groups of customers several times a year, and we do what's called ideation studies. And it's really a large focus group, but it's basically, at the end of the day, we're asking our customers, what do you want us to spend our $5 million of R&D a day on? What's going to help you in your business? What are your pain points? And that list that Robert showed, you know, those are the pain points. It's labor shortage and equipment versatility and safety and environmental. Those are the things every year that the contractors of the world are telling us are the pain. And then we say, okay, now spend our money. What should we be doing things on? And one of the priorities over the last 10 years has been machine control. We need the machines more efficient. We need to, our labor shortage is an issue. The skill of our labor is an issue. Your machines are too complex to use in some cases for someone who doesn't have 20 years experience. A lot of these things pointed to machine control and more job site solutions. Because again, you guys as the contractors of the world have said, hey, my costs are going up, my insurance is going up, your machine prices are going up. How am I going to stay profitable? You've got to take it above machines and start looking at processes. And how can you take technology and start eliminating processes on the job site? So machine control was one of the things that came out of that. I'm going to just spend a little bit of time on this, but this job site of the future, this is a slide we use because the connectivity for us at Caterpillar, there's the customer and the job site, there's our dealership and their side of the business, and obviously the actual the trailer, the job, the management of the construction company. These elements I'm going to just kind of touch through on some of the things that are happening today. Obviously, Trimble talked about, and a lot of people are in this space of asset monitoring and management. In fact, most OEMs now in North America are starting to announce or come out with a lot of these systems that are going to be able to track their machines straight from the factory. This is something that the customer base has demanded, and the OEMs are stepping up and starting to ship these products so you guys know where your machines are, when they're idle, what they're doing. This is a big part of helping manage the job site. Machine control, I'm not going to go into that. Eliminate waste. This is the machine control and guidance. Move it once, move it faster. Production info. This is something that we've talked about a little bit today, but that ability now, we know where that blade is on the job site. We know the dirt that it's moved. How can we take that real-time production information and make it useful? We've been able to do that in mining and landfill, and I'll show that in a minute, but how do we do that in construction so we can get it back to the office and make useful information out of it? Machine health. Obviously, that's another thing. It's in there. It's in the guts of the machine. There's sensors all over it. We know pretty much if the machine's being oversped. We know where the fuel is. We know if it's being overheated. We know pretty much what you can know now with all the sensors on the machine. Let's take that information and get it off the machine. Safety, huge issue. In fact, some customers are adopting machine control purely on safety. Get guys, get the grade checkers, get the survey crews, get them away from the heavy machinery. The amount of requests that we get for just bizarre features, but features like collars and wrist things, anything that can tell someone that a machine's nearby, proximity sensors, people are getting immune to the backup alarms out on these job sites. So anything we can do to get people away from the heavy equipment. One of the things we're doing on our larger machines is actually not just diagnostics, but prognostics. We actually have kind of smart boxes on the mining equipment and the large machines that it looks at the transmission control module, the engine control module, and it starts looking at the trends between them. It starts graphing things, and it can start seeing trends that are going to tell you that you're going to have downtime. So we can, wirelessly off the machine, it'll tell a mining customer, hey, this machine, the clutch is starting to slip a little bit. There's a little bit of a timing issue between the transmission and the engine. You better get this thing serviced, or the final drive might have an issue in a month or so. But it's starting to tell that kind of information to the customers. Downtime obviously is an issue. We're using the system also to help our dealers with demand and parts. So if they have their fleet and they can understand where their fleet is, they can also predict what they're going to need as far as parts for customers. With a vision being eventually a machine can order its own parts. If the filter's coming up at some point, the technology's there for that machine to basically say, okay, I need a new filter, I need a new parser or whatever, and have that actually demand brought upon the dealer, and they could actually bring that out. CAT's been in this business of machine control probably since the early 90s in the landfill and the mining industry. Landfills, I think one of the first ones was Orange County, and we did that in 1995. But this is kind of that process versus project. And with a landfill and a mine, it's very much process-based. So you can really see the vision of where we could get with these technologies when you look at a mine site or you look at a landfill. Because that landfill operator, he can sit there and in real time, he can watch that compactor compact. He knows exactly what his daily densities are, which is his main target, because he knows volume and he knows tipping scales. He knows the weight that's going into his landfill. He knows if his operators are pushing thick lifts, so it's a training issue. He knows if it's idle. All of this information to help him actually maximize airspace is coming to him fast and furious into the office in real time. The compactors actually now talk to each other, so there's actually peer-to-peer information going between the machines on a job site to tell this compactor, I've already taken care of that area, it's already compacted. So you can see when it's a process-driven, it's much easier to apply the technology, but you can see how far you can get once you can actually apply the technology correctly, and some of the other industries have shown that. From a machine control and guidance, Robert already went into, it was 2001, I think, that we announced, or 2000.
September 10,
2001, we formed the joint venture with Trimble. And so Trimble and Caterpillar now have a company that each of them own 50% of that develop all the core components and technology of our machine control. And then they go down the Trimble path and for the aftermarket and for all the other brands. And then I'll show you a little bit of Caterpillar then takes from that company and integrates it further into the machines. This is just kind of a view of the machines that are available right now. The benefits of integration from Caterpillar's point of view, leveraging what's there as far as hydraulics and electronics, just trying to take the industry forward a little bit in some of these areas. Other OEMs are now starting to do similar things and have machines that are plumbed and can leverage their electronics and hydraulics coming out of their factories. So the industry is definitely moving into this direction. The compaction system. This is kind of a brand new product, but it's another product with in this machine control space that really is going to start eliminating processes and really start driving more profitability. This soil compactor, I'm not an expert in this, but using the nuclear density gauges and stuff, you can get down about 12 inches and you're doing spot checks. This soil compactor now, as you drive over the site, it actually measures the stiffness with sensors on the drum, and it can actually map out your compaction for the whole job site. And it does it accuracy within about 5 or 6 feet down. So absolutely a full map of the job site with that kind of accuracy on soil compaction through these technologies. So it's pretty impressive what we're starting to get into by taking the GPS technology and integrating that with some of the machine technology we've got. Where's it going as far as position sensing on the machine? We've just released AccuGrade on our backhoe loader. All of the sensing's in the cylinders. So the cylinders are smart enough to know exactly where they're at, and there's no external sensors needed to know where that bucket tip is. Now, when our engineers look at this, what that tells us is we'll be able to get that GPS off the blade someday. You'll be able to pull the GPS off the blade, get it on the cab, and be able to, through cylinder sensing, know exactly where that blade is, whether it's a motor grader, whether it's a track-type tractor, or an excavator, because all of the sensing will actually be in the cylinders. And this is in production today with the backhoe loader. Where are we going? You know, I've heard a couple people, and I actually saw a slide on this. Remote control is obviously an application. And a lot of our customers in different applications are coming to us and saying, okay, you now have a machine that you know where it's at on the job site. You know where the blade's at. You can control the blade. Let's start talking more seriously about a more commercialized remote control product. Now, these things at Caterpillar right now are still in the research area. You know, we've proven out autonomous on certain machines in the past, mining trucks and stuff, but they're still in a research and development area within the company and aren't commercial. But you can kind of see the day when. And again, labor shortage isn't getting any better. Liability, skill sets, you can start seeing where some of the stuff is going. On just the grade control systems that we have today, what they're working on right now is, you know, today's grade control systems tell you, where the blade is and to the design plan. Well, the engineers right now, what they've already got is they're starting to take into account track slip. So it's going to be smart enough to know if the track slips. They know we can already sense material types when we're out on the machine. So we're going to start taking the machine in that we'll have a feedback loop on the grade control system that if you're in loose soil, if you're in kind of the gumbo in Atlanta, wherever you're at, it'll automatically compensate on the hydraulics to be able to optimize the grade control system for the conditions or the dirt you're in. Today it's a tuning process, but the machine's smart enough to know that. The other thing we do on tractors is on the larger machines for mining applications and production dozing, we actually automate the blade to maximize the production push during the carry dozing cycle. So we look at the ground speed, we look at track slip and engine load, and actually move the blade to make sure we're getting the most effective push. Very simple stretch to go from there to migrate that to grade control. When you're in production mode and you're clearing, your blade's automated to make sure you're getting the maximum push. When you get within 6 to 8 inches, all of a sudden it's not looking at productivity, it's looking at where the grade is, and it'll seamlessly go down to cut and grade. So there's a lot going on the machine side to take these technologies that you know, maybe a couple years ago were you know, kind of thought as leading edge or bleeding edge early adopters and really make them mainstream and improve them. From a Caterpillar point of view, as we work with our joint venture company, I mean, we can see the day where AccuGrade is a software download. I mean, if the machine has its sensors and position sensors, and you've got displays in there that are smart enough, you know, the evolution of this, we feel, is to an OEM business. From a grade control point of view, when you can put all the other information just to get that part of the process optimized, you know, we think from a Caterpillar point of view, our vision is to provide the kind of the best dozer and stakeless environment, and this is kind of the area that we're charging on. Well, I tried to get it in quick, Ty.
You did great.
So that gives you a little bit of an idea where CAT's going as far as a company. We're sold on machine control as far as from what our customers have told us. This is the way it's going. This is the future. We've got a good partner with Trimble, and we're moving forward pretty aggressively. Are there any questions? Yeah.
Actually, you told me in the beginning about fault of the
you told about growth of your company. Which areas are growing the fastest, and are there differences in geographical areas also?
I can comment just because I read the annual report recently that a lot of our growth last year in 2006 was actually in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. The AME region is where we saw quite a bit of growth. In the U.S., the housing market has slowed. We saw some slowdown there, and also towards the end of the year, our on-highway truck business slowed considerably in North America because of emissions. There was a lot of pre-buying because we just released a new engine in January, I think it was. And actually, the Europe and Africa and Middle East area picked up a lot of the, from a profitability point at the end of last year. As a company, growth-wise, China is absolutely one of the top priorities of the company to make sure that we've got a solid strategy and entrance into that market. We've been there since the, I think, early 70s and have got companies and some plants in there, but it is a priority to make sure that our presence there is solid. Anything else? Great.
Well, Tom, thank you for
Okay.
hanging in there and keeping it interesting.